All right, I'm making this video for Sarah and for all of you who have asked me this question. So I kind of want to gather up the questions that I've been asked around this and kind of, and I think Sarah's note to me, we get a lot of emails here at the channel all the time. We talk about this on the Pathfinder group all the time. So I wanted to make this video for all y'all who may not be in the Pathfinders group, but who may have this question. And for some of you who are in the Pathfinders group too, like this may be helpful. So she writes to me, Dear MJ, I hear everyone in the Pathfinders group and on your YouTube channel in general talking about being on a spiritual path or mission. So here's my question. How do I know I'm actually on a spiritual path at all? I mean, is everybody on a spiritual path, or is it just those special ones? And if I'm on a spiritual path, how can I tell I'm on it? So that's a great question. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. There goes Charlie. He's done with me now. So I wanted to get together 10 signs. You know, I don't usually do sign videos, but I think this is one of those where I wrote my list and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just share with you all these 10 things. You could have more than these. You could have a few of these. You could have one of these, whatever it is. And I think you'll understand as I work my way through this list, what it means to be on a spiritual path more. I think this will be, hopefully this will be information that's going to give you some clarity. And we do talk about this on the Pathfinder group all the time. So here we go. So I'm going to talk about what does it mean to be on a spiritual journey or a path, and it's not just for twin flames, just saying. Okay, so number one, you start questioning why you're here. Why am I here? What am I doing here? Am I here just to have a job and pay bills? And you know what I mean? Like, why am I even here? Is this something that, is there something more? You know, you start to wonder, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I feel like that curiosity is like you're poking your head up out of the sand and going, okay, I got a question, right? Like that action of curiosity is spiritual, okay? Because you're not in this block of wood kind of like, well, I'm just doing what's in front of me and everything like that. That's not a mindfulness thing. That's just a thing that like people who are not curious about their mission or path in this life. Now, a lot of people ask themselves that at different times in their life, like when they get sick or when, you know, some kind of big bad thing happens to them. Like, why am I here? What am I doing here? But I feel like this, you're questioning why am I here, can come at any time. It can come during those times, but can also come at a time when, you know, things are peaceful and you just seem to be like moving along and it's like, is there something more? You just start having those questions come up for you. Is there something more? Why am I here? So that's number one. Number two, you start seeing signs and synchronicities and wondering what they mean. So this is definitely one of those things to me on the channel that starts me going, well, look at that. They're waking up. That's awesome. They're starting to wonder what 1111 means. They're starting to wonder, I'm starting to see messages in terms of, I turned on the radio and it was speaking to me. I watched one of MJ's videos just by happenstance, and now I'm here because it spoke to me a little bit. And when you start seeing these things as signs to you, instead of just like 1111, so what? So what? Right? If you're not curious about them, curiosity is a big indicator of spiritual path. So when you start seeing the signs, fine, but then you start wondering what they mean and you want to find information out about what they mean. That is a sign you're on a spiritual journey, okay? Number three, you start to open up to practices that are more spiritual, that you may have rebuffed in the past. Prayer, meditation, drumming circles, women's circles, ayahuasca, plant medicine, crystals. You start opening up to these things, tarot, astrology, numerology, because they're helping you satisfy that level of curiosity. And when you start opening up to these spiritual practices, I definitely have a friend that I've only known for a short time, but when I first met her maybe 2 years ago, there was definitely this oh, this whole tarot thing and all that. And she was always like a little eye rolly at me about that. And I saw her recently over the weekend, and she had gone to some kind of shaman or something. And I was like, oh, we're going in the right direction. Yes. So when you start to open to these practices that are spiritual in nature that maybe you never would have before, bingo, you're on a spiritual path. Number 4, you are curious about tools. This is kind of the same thing. I keep, running off my script here, but you're curious about tools like tarot, astrology, pendulum, spirit communication. You're curious about learning them, not just about like, oh, there are tools out there. I'm going to go to a shaman. I'm going to go to a thing, but it's like, I want to learn for myself. Right? That class that we're doing with Jakara about understanding your own inner guidance about who my twin flame is. When you start to want to learn the tool that will help you get that information from yourself, bingo, again, spiritual path. Number 5, this is a big one for me. And this is a lot of times people come to the channel and this is one of the things I do is I help people connect the dots. Okay. So number 5 is you start seeing connections and lessons. You start seeing things as lessons, not as punishment or not as, random events. You start being able to connect the dots for yourself. That's a huge one. Curiosity is a very important avenue into the wanting to learn, and then the seeing the connections between all these things. So when I teach that North Node class, that's the biggest thing. I think when you come from a place of, or when you start at a place of, okay, I know the dictionary definition of my North Node. It is the karma I'm here to work through. It's the lesson I'm here to learn. It's the thing I'm here to do. And the South Node is the thing that I already know, that's my comfort zone. When you start seeing the connections in your life as to how that energy is working, there you go. That's spiritual path at work. The path is breadcrumbs. And if you can take these little breadcrumbs here and there, like, okay, I got a sign this morning. I woke up and there was this song playing on the radio, or I got, an 1111 in my car on the way home last night, or I'm, at lunch, I look over and it's 111 or something like that. And then, 2 weeks later I get fired, or 2 weeks later, the new opportunity shows up, or, a love from the past shows up. You start to connect the dots of these things. All right. That's why you journal. I did a video last week, and I'm going to put a card here, wherever it is, about journaling. It's the video. Go click on it and watch it, because it's about how you start to learn to journal, how you start journaling. And the reason that I advocate journaling so strongly is that it helps you connect dots, because you're going to forget. All right. You got a lot going on. You got to pay that electric bill. You got to make sure you get to the dentist. You got to make sure that Charlie is, taken care of. You got to make sure all of these things are happening. The spiritual path is really like a path of breadcrumbs. And so it's also very quiet. It's not really like in your face. When you get tower moments and things, usually if you had journaled, you would have been able to see where that came from. Okay, I'm not saying it will prevent a tower all the time. It could, but to me, journal is like, oh, all right, I see that I'm, having trouble with this situation, or I'm having trouble understanding, about this third party situation. I'm having trouble understanding why this twin flame thing is showing up for me. So when you start to write them down, then you can go back and connect the dots. So I highly advocate, watch that video about journaling, okay? Number 6, you feel drawn to get more information, not just from books or from inanimate objects, but from people. You start feeling drawn to teachers. You start feeling drawn to know about spirit guides. You want to hear more guidance. That's why a lot of you on my channel are drawn to the tarot readings, because you want to hear more. And I feel like the next progression of that is to learn tarot for yourself, or to learn some of these things for yourself, because it's one thing to be able to, so starts, watching a tarot reading and it's like, oh my God, that resonates for me. But then the progression of that is this one thing resonates, this other thing doesn't, and being able to tell the difference inside. So you're learning your own inner language, and then you're able to learn things yourself, to do different modalities yourself, or learn how to read tarot, learn how astrology works in your life, learn for yourself, learn the tools. Okay. And you feel drawn to these things. You found me, right? You feel drawn to watch a reading, or you feel drawn to watch this video or something like that. That's a big indicator. Okay. Because it's not just your curiosity. It's sort of like, okay, now I want to do something about it. I want to work with this energy. I want to harness this. These things, all these indicators are feeling drawn. You're feeling pulled to do something. That's spiritual path. And I think by the time you get there, you're on a spiritual path. But if you have to validate it, there you go. Number 7 is you may feel exhausted by things that you were used to be fine with. Okay? A regular job, family patterns, a friend's negativity. You could have had somebody in your life for a really long time who was super negative or super low vibe or something like that. And it was okay for a really long time. And all of a sudden it's not okay. Okay? And you can let people go in your life that have been in your life for a really long time. Is it challenging? You bet. You bet. But when you are on the spiritual path, there's nothing that says you're on, everybody is on a spiritual path. This is about being aware that you're on a spiritual path. Okay. Waking up to it. So you may be exhausted by things you used to be fine with. That's number 7. Number 8, you start to seek out like-minded people. So if you have released a bunch of people in your life, that's a big indicator. And then you're, okay, now I want to fill my life with people who are like-minded, people who they don't have to be like everybody thinks the same. Some of these people can be challenging to you. It doesn't mean that everybody, it's like, oh, I don't want anybody in my circle who doesn't think exactly like me. It's not really like that. It's more or less, you want people around you who are on the spiritual path, who are doing their thing on the spiritual path. So can some of those people still be challenging to you? Yes. But I'm here to say that the negativity is gone. The 3D kind of block of wood experience is gone. That the adherence to kind of, belief systems that are definitely fading away is gone. Those things are gone. And you're starting to seek out your own soul family. So you may seek out these like-minded people. You may want to join, go to this drumming circle. You may want to join a community. And that's really important. You also start to see yourselves as family. I have a little group of women. We do dream weaving together. We help each other expand our spiritual practices and things like that. And those are sisters. That's definitely family, right? It's definitely family. So you start to see the difference between those. What you had before and where you're going is going to be more of a soul family. Okay. And that's, you're starting to seek that out. Number 9, this is specific to twin flame, and not everybody who is on a spiritual path is a twin flame. But if you start to see information, you start to see a lot of information about twin flames and about this information, and you want more, you want to validate who your twin flame is and all of that. That's why a lot of my videos do go down this road, because there's something here for me around twin flame, especially there's a healing necessary. And this is, what's coming on my channel is that we're going to be healing these patterns of attracting toxic partners, because I do feel like twin flames, because of their very nature, because of, I also did a video, I'll put a card up here, about what type of twin flame are you, the monadic, the split soul, and the hive. I won't go into each of those now, but you can go look at that video. And that really is about expanding love on the planet. And that is on the spiritual journey. I don't think there's a more important mission than doing that. I feel like everybody who wakes up to their spiritual journey, twin flame or not, it is about expanding love on this planet, love and compassion and empathy. It is about those things. Twin flames in specific may have something to do with upending old paradigms, toxic paradigms of love relationships. That is their mission. That is certainly one of their missions. Okay. So if you're feeling drawn to information about twin flame or curious about this is a huge indicator that you're already on a spiritual path. Okay. God, if you've met your twin flame and you're open to that, you know all about that, you are 100% on a spiritual path. And finally, number 10, you have had some type of physical experience that leads you to believe it was a spiritual indicator, like a heart chakra awakening, a kundalini awakening. And when you have these physical experiences, you could, out of body, astral travel during dreams, during dream states, telepathy with someone, opening to the psychic realms, seeing dead people, mediumship, shamanism, all of those things. If you had, and it's physical, right? Like you have it in your physicality, you feel it in your physicality. This is possibly one of the biggest indicators of the onset of a spiritual journey, is having that. I had a heart chakra awakening. I'd been on the spiritual path already for 10 years. And woo, all of a sudden the heart chakra awakening happened. And that's when the channel really started to expand. So all of these things, these 10 things, there likely are more. So this is a good topic of conversation. What are the other indicators for you of what it means to be on a spiritual journey? Please drop a comment. I'd love to see those. If you're part of our Pathfinders group on Thursdays, I'd love to have more of a discussion, go deeper into the discussion about this. I feel like this is something that people can really learn where they're going from where they are. They can learn about their mission and what they're here to do. Okay, and so that's why we started the Pathfinders group to begin with. So come on along if you want to be part of the Pathfinders group. There's a link below. I'd love to have you. It's a great conversation. And I hope this journey was helpful for you, this journey of this video. And please drop a comment about what other kinds of indicators of spiritual path there are. I'd love to hear from you. Okay? All right. See you tomorrow.